Hello everyone. Today we are welcomed by Megha Desai, the founder of MSD, which stands for Marketing, Strategy, and Dharma. Megha and I had the good fortune of meeting a little over a year ago, and we both agree that should have been a long time, much longer than that.
Much sooner.
But we've had a really, really good first year and a half.
We did. We made up for it.
We made up for it in short order. Whenever I leave conversations with Megha, I'm always more energized and inspired to do the work that I'm doing. Megha, you are a jewel in the community that we're in.
Wow, thank you.
And thank you for joining Liquid Talent TV today.
Yes, I'm excited to be here.
Awesome.
I love what you guys are doing.
Cool. Tell us a little bit about MSD.
Sure.
What is MSD?
So MSD is a marketing company for emerging brands. Mm-hmm. So we focus on startups, impact companies,
yep.
And just kind of younger brands. And what we help them do is grow, tell their stories, whether it's from an audience perspective, from a content perspective, helping them find strategic partnerships, and really just helping them grow their voice.
I love it. I love it. I like how it's also divided into 3 letters of the acronym MSD, Marketing, Strategy, and Dharma. Mm-hmm. I want to dig a little bit into each one of those components of the company.
Sure.
You have marketing background and a strategy background through a traditional work. You were in agencies and big companies.
I worked at traditional advertising agencies for almost 12 years, and then had a lot of experience in the product development space at some of the agencies that I worked in.
Yeah.
So kind of where it comes to the framework and the groundwork of traditional marketing, I have a lot of experience there.
Got it.
So that's kind of where that fundamental brick came from.
And if I just wanted to work with you on the marketing element of my business, what are the services that cover the marketing side of the business?
Sure, we do a lot of content creation. So if you already kind of know what your story is and what you want, the story that you want to tell, we'll help you tell it. Whether it's helping you find the right writer or the right art director to bring it to life, or helping you put that all together from a creative standpoint and a production standpoint.
And then we're hearing this a lot on Liquid Talent TV, the idea of story, and how important story is. Because when you think of a for-profit or a business or a profit-generating enterprise, the idea or the thought of a story doesn't necessarily, you don't necessarily think of that, but storytelling is so critical to making companies work. Why is storytelling such a key component of marketing and what you do?
For a company to be successful, there are actually only 2 things that matter. There is product, right? Actually delivering a product that people want, and storytelling. And whether the consumer or whether the general public is aware of it or not, they're buying into stories every minute of every day. And you are buying into a story about Apple being about creativity versus IBM being about systems. Is that actually true? I don't know. But you've bought into it because Apple's presenting you with design stories and founder stories and all these other bits and pieces that add up to this greater personality. And at the end of the day, even if you think about your personal interactions, they are, each person is a storyteller, right? People are living their lives telling their story. And that's what brands do.
Totally. Let's move into strategy.
Sure.
So now we're in the S element of the company. Strategy is different from marketing. Tell us a little bit about the strategy work that you're doing and what you like to do.
Sure. Strategy is a little bit, for our company, strategy embodies 2 main areas. One, it's about how you approach your company and how you're building your company. So it really is almost business development, but it really is kind of laying down the framework for your approach to your audience, your approach with your product. Thinking long term about, what if our product changes? How are we going to accommodate that? Or what if we develop a new product? How is that umbrella brand going to accommodate for that? So that's kind of the brand development, I mean the kind of business development side of it. The other side of it is strategic partnerships. So especially for young brands and for nonprofits and impact brands, the strategic partnerships and the alliances that you make can really catapult you. And it can be as seamless as something like Warby Parker coming together with Pencils of Promise and doing an exclusive line to kind of both elevate both of their brands, right? Suddenly now Warby Parker has a whole audience of pop, like pop culture that they were really kind of in the hipster world, and now suddenly there are teenagers in Minnesota that are wearing Warby Parkers because they heard about it through Pencils of Promise. Vice versa, there are hundreds of people that are now hearing about Pencils of Promise because they are buying a pair of Warby Parker glasses. So those are the types of strategic partnerships that are great. There are also other strategic partnerships where someone like One.org, this is a project that we worked on.
What is that?
One.org is Bono's nonprofit trying to eradicate extreme poverty around the world.
Wow.
Through high-level policy change. And so we work, One.org is one of our clients at MSD, and we brought in, they came to us and said, you know, we have all this great content, and we don't feel like the right people are seeing it. And then this messaging that people just aren't seeing. So we're not asking anyone for money, we just want people to hear what we have to say. So we thought to ourselves, who has a really interesting distribution model? And we brought them Spotify, which was kind of interesting because they both had music in their DNA.
Bono, yeah.
Bono. And they are very different distribution models. And so we brought them together, and now they've been continuously working together on all these different campaigns to bring messaging backwards and forwards, and it's like this seamless partnership. And so that's kind of the strategic partnership side of things, where we are able to help build companies.
I love it, and getting One.org probably wasn't a lucky or trivial task. It's through your experience and years of work and relationships that you landed One.org. But I mean, you know, share a little bit more about that for companies that are trying to get larger partnerships, work with a Bono, let's say. How do you position yourself, and how do you actually go about securing that client?
So that actually leads into the Dharma part of my company.
Perfect.
So
anyway, yes,
yeah,
the Dharma.
Yeah. So Dharma, it's funny. So it's a Sanskrit word that comes from the kind of Hindu philosophy, and because of Lost, most Americans think that the word Dharma means truth, which is not wrong. It's just not the entire definition. So the definition is actually your truth. So it's actually a subjective truth. So my truth and your truth are different. Just the way that Apple's truth and IBM's truth are different.
Right.
So just the way that we ask our friends and our siblings to take a look at themselves and do the work to understand like who you really are, what matters to you, why you exist, and what it is that you want to do in the world. Like, why aren't brands asking themselves those questions too? So it's really important to set that groundwork, especially for startups. What is that tone of voice that, like, what is that individual personality that you're going to bring? And that can change, just like we changed, just like 6 years ago. I'm a little different than I was 6 years ago, but you know, it can evolve, but it shouldn't seem uncharacteristic.
Yes.
So if I am suddenly a brand that pops up and does something that you're kind of like, oh, what is that brand doing in this space? It's confusing, right? So that you want to make sure that your consistent brand voice comes through.
Yeah.
So understanding your marketplace, understanding why you exist.
You know, you're separating yourself as you grow MSD from MSD being Megha Desai.
Of course.
And has that been a struggle for you at all? Have you worked through the separation of your company and yourself, and I guess where the company is going down the road as well? Where do you see it going, and how has that separation, that relationship been for you?
Yeah, so we've been around for 4 years, and the first 2 years it was definitely the Megha Desai show, and it was always about my relationships, you know, my hustle, my putting myself in front of people and in front of companies. And something happened about a year ago when I think I worked on a couple projects where other people started talking about the work that we did. And suddenly I had to have that moment of realization that this had nothing to do with me. And it really was about my team, and it was about my partners and the people that I brought on board. And really about the greater mission of MSD. And I think about 2 years ago, I had to do the work of what is my mission versus what is MSD's mission. And they're different. They're not the same.
And that's okay.
And that's okay. And as those two missions have evolved, I think it's actually only been better for MSD.
And how do people find you and MSD?
Sure. My Twitter handle is @Megatron5, MEGHATRON5. It's an old high school nickname that never went away. And then MS Dharma is msdharma.com. And again, the Desai Foundation is the Desai Foundation, DESAI.org.
I can't say enough good things about Megha. I feel like I've known her my whole life. And I'm excited to really know you the rest of my life.
I know.
It's a really wonderful year of knowing you, and you know, for the folks out there thinking about their story, thinking about their strategy, and thinking about their dharma, this bright star can help you figure some of that stuff out. So do reach out to her or me, and we'll connect the dots. Megha, thank you for joining the Totality.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
It was so fun.
That was weird that we just shook hands.